Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, and welcome to another episode of All Intuitive Conversation. I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I encourage individuals to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. Today, I have the pleasure of connecting with Sheena. So let's bring her to the screen. Aloha, Sheena.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing this morning? Well, it's morning for me. So, how about for you? I see the little sunshine peeking through, so I figure it's not nighttime. How is it for you?
It's morning for me as well. It's a good morning. It's Friday morning here, so getting
Yes.
ready to kick off the weekend.
Awesome. Well, where's here?
I live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, okay. Are you from there?
Yes.
So born and raised.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what was it like growing up in Kansas City, Missouri?
I grew up in a small town. We lived here for ever, and then I moved away right out of college. I moved to Chicago and then moved back and then went to Columbus, Ohio for a few years. We lived in the suburbs of Atlanta for 4 years, and I loved that. And then just recently moved back.
Okay. So you traveled a little bit. Chicago is definitely more big city.
Mhm.
For sure. Um, so here we're going to start here with the card that first came out.
Mhm.
This girl is kind of traveling on this golden path, and there's this big house in the background. So the question that's kind of coming through: tell me about a golden nugget opportunity that you had in one of your past houses.
Oh. Oh, that's such a good question. There's so many. A golden nugget opportunity. I think I think the what's coming up for me is probably just like home is what you make it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we lived in, the suburbs of Atlanta, we knew that we wanted to move back to this area, be closer to family and friends. But I think it I now that I'm here, I'm
Mm-hmm.
reflecting back on like always thinking that that next thing was going to make me happy, right? Like when I move,
Mm.
I'm going to be happy. When I get that job, I'm going to be happy. And I think that it's just that reminder of like you get to choose in the moment to be happy. You get to choose in the moment to have gratitude for where you're at and to really make the most of that situation. And I don't want to downplay, trauma or anything that is happening to individuals, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it is like we all have the opportunity to really look internally at what is within my control right now to
Mm-hmm.
really be joyful, have gratitude, be grateful and like evoke happiness.
So the thing that came up here is basically is this whole awakening moment to this because I was like, okay, this came out first. I said, but she's not there yet, so we got to get her to what she is referencing, and it
Yeah.
says a temporary pause for reflection and insight, and that's exactly what you did. She's like, let me think about this. And for what that is and how you were like present in the moment now that I'm thinking about it. And it says an
Yeah.
awakening where you see things in a whole new light. Embrace your own uniqueness. Um, so that's the next thing that's kind of coming through. Which is interesting, like your background is a clean slate. Like it's white curtain, I mean white blinds, it's a white wall. Um, and the peekaboo of the color is you. So tell me something colorful about Sheena.
Something colorful. Well, in the context of like LinkedIn, right? Or social in general, right? This conversation right now. I think that
Mhm.
it's people get a peek, they get a glimpse, and then from that glimpse they make assumptions,
Mm.
right? So I think that one thing that's really important to me is authenticity. And so it's like I'm not bright, shiny rainbows all the time. I don't have a positive outlook all the time. I like there yesterday I cried, right? Cuz like I felt like a failure in like being a mom and so it's like there are moments, I think everyone has these moments, but
Mm.
because of the way that our world is today, you only see the highlight reels. You only see the bright, shiny moments. So I think that it would be like all of us have our stuff. And,
Mhm.
I think the color is like it's okay to have a little black. Like you don't have to be sunshine and yellow all the time. Like it's the rainbow is the rainbow. And I think that when you allow all of yourself in, you live a more full life because you experience things deeper, the good and the bad.
Yes, love that. So, of course, the energy came through, which I'm not amiss. That's kind of reminding me of your shirt color. And the
Yeah.
concept and the theme of this was inspire or is inspired. The trigger statement says, I am stuck, which goes back to here, chill of somebody might think I'm stuck upside down on this tree, right? But having this awakening.
Yeah.
But it says, true statement, I am filled with possibility. Allow yourself to float above any thoughts or emotions and see what is needed for you to process them and to move forward. So, like you talk about, people can get individual of just thinking, oh, I have to be quote unquote stuck in happy zone. And
Yeah.
it's really not. It really is like this whole emotional guidance scale of sometimes you're going to be really happy and sometimes you're going to be, angry, frustrated, jealous. But it becomes how do you learn how to navigate up and down that emotional scale? It's like, I'm not stuck in
Mhm.
angry mode all the time, or I'm not stuck, as you said, the darkness mode, but like, okay, just keep flowing
Mhm.
from there. So tell me a little bit about your career and what you do.
My so what's funny about my career is I kind of fell into my career. So I was a personal
You
trainer.
kind of fell into it.
Yeah, I kind of fell
Yes.
in I kind of fell
Uh-huh.
into my career.
Hmm.
So I was a personal trainer for about 20 years. So my degree is in nutrition. So I did personal training, nutrition coaching, kind of health and wellness coaching. And I really struggled. Like I struggled with sales. It didn't feel in alignment for me as a person to be like selling. And so I
Hmm.
finally like connected the dots between, and I love it. One of my favorite quotes is Zig Ziglar: "A sale is what happens when you're immersed in serving your customer." Right.
Mm.
So when I shifted my mindset and allowed it to really align with my values of service, of really like supporting people through their journey, I became really successful. And so I became really passionate about helping other personal trainers who felt this, very like service-based people,
Hmm.
building their career, doing what they love to do, but also reconciling that, like, it's okay for you to make a really good income helping people and doing what you
Mm.
love to do. And that turned into talent development, and that also so it kind of shifted in 2 ways. So it shifted from a career perspective in, like, onboarding and talent development, because then it was like, it doesn't have to be personal training. I want to help people do what they love to do more efficiently, more effectively, be successful in their career, have the tools that they need. But then also, as from a coach standpoint, focusing more holistically on people's lives, on their career, on like, let's look at
Mm.
24/7, not just 9 to 5. And let's
Mm.
look at like your entire life and what's important to you in your life and your values and how you can really live through your values. So my motto is life happens outside the 9 to 5, your goals should too. I think a lot of times people should themselves like I should be spending more time with my family or I should really be focusing on my
Hmm.
career. How can we look at what's most important to you right now in this season of life and help you live more in alignment with what's most important to you now, knowing that that can shift and mold and move as your priorities change.
Yes. Well, you have a lot of movement. So the two cards that can, and I'm going to show you both of these at the same time because when you were talking, once again, it's kind of this whole blue thing that's going here.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when you were talking about your belief, the philosophy,
Yeah.
what you're having that, and like you're doing that with arms open, like this is the life that we kind of have. But then the other card that came out here was trust. And like I said, the whole individuals are going back unsure, kind of just blind of I'm not, but I'm gonna trust that what this new opportunity that I have for me is coming here. But then you have the individuals celebrating them at the same time, right? So
Mhm.
it's just like, oh, okay, like this whole energy. But as this you're laughing, so how does that resonate and kind of wiping away tears? So how is that resonating with
Oh,
you?
okay, so I
You're fine. Just take your time.
so in June, my grandmother passed away,
Mm.
and she had this collection of blue dishes, which are now in my kitchen,
Oh,
and she had a stone in the front of her house that said "Believe," and that stone is outside of my house now. So when you brought that up, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me."
She's yeah, they that is how the spirits kind of come
So,
in and just letting you know that
yeah,
yes, she
yep,
still sees you and I love that she came in to encourage you in this moment.
yeah.
So with that, so tell me, what's a memory you have of her?
I think it was like most I mean, it's funny because like when we were prepping for the funeral, right? It was like I don't have like a I don't have one memory. It's like experiences or things that we did together. Like she loved to antique, so we would go antiquing. Root beer floats remind me of her. Um,
Yes.
she used to sing this little song, "I love you a bushel and a peck." So that song.
Yes.
But it's also like I went to her house in the spring, and it was a really rare occasion of like just me going there, right? Because we had just moved back. So for the last 8 years, I haven't lived near her where I could just go visit her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just trying to like learn. Like I knew she was 92, so I knew that our time was limited. And so I was like asking her, to tell me stories and things like that. And I said, "Do you have any regrets?" And she was like, "No, I've lived a good life." And I was just like, what a way to live, to be in your 90s and to just say, "No, I've lived a good life. It's been good." Yeah,
Yes. That is amazing.
yeah,
Um, that because there are individuals that, like I said, when they get to that time, it's just like, oh, I regret that I didn't do um, this or to do that in my life. And the fact that you even asked at like your age today in order to say that was like really a learning opportunity moment. It's just like, well, okay, well, let me get this wisdom. This
yeah,
goes back to that nugget of knowledge of what do I
yeah,
need to know in order to make my life so much better.
yeah.
And so, hmm. So you got two because I was looking for what is another message that kind of come through in here. First one that came through is the medicine mother.
Mm,
And the words that it says here, honor your inner knowing. And then you also got she wolf, which says here, unleash the wild within.
mm,
So the question is kind of coming through the whole honor the knowing, which I'm going back to like having the wisdom, the understanding, the belief, and all the different things of knowing who you are and how you serve, and those connections of wanting to learn more about, hey, if I'm could do something better, what do I need to know in order to do that? But now we're going to focus on this she wolf. So with that, Sheena, she wolf, what is it that you want to unleash that's still a little bound in your life today?
I am actively working on releasing my perfectionism. And again,
Mm.
it's like circling back to, like, it's funny that those were the two cards that you pulled up, because there was the believe and then the trust. I am actively working with
Mhm.
my therapist on my trust issues. And like
Uh-huh.
and just my, not only my ability to trust others, but like trusting myself, right? So
Mhm.
recognizing I'm still working on, and I think I think this is also really important, like as a coach, like I have to be constantly doing my work in
Yes.
order to fully help my clients, right? I believe a therapist has to always be doing their work to fully help their clients, because if you're not in that beginner's mindset, and if you're not in that space of looking at like, what can I learn here? What are the themes for me? I think it's really challenging for you to help someone else navigate through that process. But answering your question,
Mhm.
um, releasing my perfectionism. So there are so many things that I want to do.
Mhm.
And like, I am right now, I'm writing a course that I want to launch. I'm writing a book that I want to publish. Like,
Yes.
there are dreams that I have, and there are things that I want to do. And I'm having to like coach myself and work with my coach and my therapist through that process of like, what I want to do these things. They're really important to me. I'm not doing them. Why? And
Yep.
I don't ask why, because I believe that's a defensive question, right?
Mhm.
And it's a judging question. I'm not judging myself for not doing it, but it's like, huh, I'm curious what the resistance is here. Like, what's happening? And I think that a lot of that is like judgment, fear of rejection, right? So, like, what if I write this book and no one likes it? What if I get
Mhm.
1-star reviews? And it's
Mhm.
going back to like, but this is, I mean, going back to what you said earlier, like, I feel like this was put in my heart from a higher source.
Yes.
So it's irresponsible for me to not, because somebody needs it, right? Maybe it's just one person, but like somebody needs this. And it's my job to just put it out there.
So, indeed. So it was like, okay, what is this encouraging message? So it was to go to and read the message for you, and it goes back to 2 days ago, because I was like, right before we left, I was like, okay, why am I going back to look at the blue moon? So 2 days ago, it was a blue moon, and again, back to this whole blue um, concept of this. And so, of course, the she wolf was just kind of reminding me of you. And here's what the message that it says: Let your wild side up and out. Unleash your talents and your desires. You're being rewild at this time, guided to reconnect with your rebellious heart, the part of you that likes to break boundaries and go beyond them completely. If you've been holding back on your hopes or dreams, you have been encouraged to chase after them now. Let the wolf energy within you help you track down what direction you want to go in, and don't let any traps or hunters get in the way of your freedom or your growth. The life you want is here. So again, she wolf. Your name starts with SHE, Sheena.
Yes.
So Sheena, I do hope you have been encouraged to live smart and ascend to new levels of success today. So if individuals are saying, yes, I would like to connect with Sheena and learn more about how she serves with others, how can they reach you?
LinkedIn, Sheena Lance-Nold, and then my website is www.sln, my initials, coaching and consulting, spelled out, and is spelled out.com. So SLN coaching and consulting.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you for those. If you have been watching and have been encouraged to live smart and send to new levels of success, and you're like, hey, I would love to be a guest on All Intuitive Conversation, reach out to me as well on LinkedIn. If you want to learn a little bit more about the show, you can visit allintuitiveconversation.com. And it looks as though we had Mr. G. James also joining us today, and he said, you get to choose in the moment to be happy, to have gratitude. Very good reminder. Thank you, Mr. G, for joining us and commenting on that. And until we meet again, this has been an all intuitive conversation.